For many years, professionally and otherwise, I have got involved in different projects and campaigns to protest against violence to women. I have been the leading and driving force behind our efforts to coordinate our resources in the borough as partners like the council, police, probation, victim support, all sorts of different agencies. And we decided to set up Hearthstone. Domestic violence is a crime that should not be tolerated in any society. And in Haringey, we are serious about protecting our residents.
The council are very keen that all the community organisations within Haringey are aware of the issues of domestic violence and want them to be involved very much in dealing with the issues of domestic violence and making things better for people.
I'm a councillor in Haringey, twice mayor, and personally I was affected by domestic violence 19 years ago when I was first married. And obviously I was aware of it but never discussed it, never talked about it, didn't tell anybody because it's something you didn't talk about.
What advice would you give to somebody who is living in a violent situation?
Well, to talk about it, not to bottle it up, not to hide it away.
Are you living with domestic violence? We've come to Wood Green Shopping Centre today to find out what people on the street know about domestic violence.
I'm still going through operations to this day because
domestic is like their families, some of their families' problems.
My experience of domestic violence is growing up around, parents arguing.
They may be physical or verbal abuse.
I've had about 15 operations now. I've had 3 brain operations to try and repair the damage that is done to all down the side of my left face.
I believe it's something physical in the way that you're brought up. Maybe your parents are being violent to you. It doesn't have to be your parents, it could be anybody in the family.
And I could be lying sleeping when it happened, I could have been awake, it doesn't matter. I could have put too much dinner on his plate.
Why do you think people stay in violent relationships?
I suppose at the end of the day it's a relationship that they know.
Maybe they grew up in those kinds of circumstances, so it's familiar to them.
You believe that you've done something wrong yourself.
Fear, they might be terrified.
I think it's mostly money that causes it.
It could be love.
It's a shame, perhaps, to the family.
I think it basically just makes everyone lose confidence within themselves. And
The person feels that they haven't got no support, they haven't got no help, they haven't got nowhere to go.
They believe their partner's saying it'll never happen again. And you think, well, I did, that it's better for kids to have a mum and a dad than just a mum or a dad, but it's not.
At least 750,000 children a year witness domestic violence. Children who witness domestic violence may respond by developing anxiety or depression, having nightmares, flashbacks. They may lose their ability to concentrate and perform poorly at school. They may develop feelings of anger, insecurity, guilt, or internalise their distress and become withdrawn. They may develop eating disorders or self-harm by attempting to cut themselves or to overdose. They may develop mental health problems in later life.
It's very emotional seeing your parents arguing and fighting, I can't take it, it's too much.
What advice would you give to a woman who's...
Get out. Don't believe them because they will do it again. And they'll do it over and over and they might even die. You don't know. I quite believe if I never got out, I would have.
This is powerful, man. Oh, shit. SubhanAllah.
What were you saying about it?
Boy, that's deep. Has to stop. That's a powerful word,
Call Hearthstone, Monday to Friday, 10 till 4, on 0208 888 5362 for help, support and advice.
Domestic violence exists between people of all cultures, all religious backgrounds, within heterosexual and same-sex relationships, within poor households and within wealthy households. Domestic violence exists between husbands and wives, partners and ex-partners, and all other adults who consider themselves to be part of a family unit. Are you living with domestic violence?
Are you kept as a prisoner in your own home?
Are you being bullied?
Are you living in a situation where you're being constantly shouted at, put down or called names?
Are you being pushed, hit or beaten?
Domestic violence is rarely a one-off incident.
Is someone using money to control you and telling you you'd be better off dead?
2 women are murdered every week.
Has someone threatened to kill you?
Most women are attacked or murdered by someone they know.
Do you live in fear?
Are you being raped? Does the person who has abused you cry and beg for forgiveness?
Do they say you've provoked them?
Then do it again.
Between 2004 and 2005, 3,515 incidents of domestic violence were reported to the police in the borough of Haringey alone.
Are you told that the children will be taken away from you?
You're not fit to bring them up?
90% of domestic violence occurs with children in the same room.
Have you lost your self-esteem?
Are you constantly having aches and pains?
Do you get depressed?
Domestic violence is the principal cause of death for women between the ages of 19 and 44.
Are you hiding what's going on from your children, your family?
From your friends, your colleagues?
Are you trying to hide how you feel from yourself?
Call Hearthstone, Monday to Friday, 10 till 4, on 0208 888 5362 for help, support and advice.
Haringey's Hearthstone project is a one-stop support service for people living with domestic violence.
Hearthstone is unique because every aspect of recovery, both emotionally and physically from domestic violence, can be dealt with right here on these premises. That's the beauty of coming to Hearthstone.
If someone calls us in an emergency situation, the first step that we take is to get that person out of danger and ensure that they're safe. That may involve getting the person to hospital, getting them medical treatment, reporting the incidents to the police.
There are interpreters arranged through the council.
We provide emergency accommodation, bed and breakfast accommodation.
The Sanctuary Scheme is a scheme set up so that people experiencing domestic violence can remain in their own homes but be safe. So the accommodation that you're living in would be assessed and extra measures would be put into the home to ensure that it's safe. We can refer people to women's refuges out of the area. We can organise transfers to different areas within the borough, or we can advise people on making applications to other parts of London or other parts of the country.
We have Hearts and Families that offer support for families, and we have Key Support who offer ongoing support for single people. We also use Elevate. They're also an outreach service. They help with issues around benefits, immigration, schools.
We have police officers here, solicitors that come in and do surgeries. We have a relationship with victim support. We can refer people to Women's Therapy Centre for counselling.
It's the woman that's in control. She's the one that determines whether or not she wishes to proceed, whether she wishes to press charges, whether or not she just wanted logged as a crime or not to speak to the police at all. It's entirely up to the woman.
Domestic violence is a crime and illegal under British law. You need to know it's not your fault.
Staff here really understand what it's taken for a woman to take the first step and come into the centre, and we're here to support them in that.
And dispel the myth that because they leave their husbands or they want to prosecute them, that they're a bad person.
If you are being abused, be aware that you are not alone. It is not your fault. People can and do rebuild their lives. Make the first step towards a safe and secure future.
Call Hearthstone Monday to Friday 10 till 4 on 0208 888 5362 for help, support and advice.
Haringey Council work in partnership with all community organisations and services to tackle domestic violence. The Council work with the police, local women's groups such as the Turkish Cypriot Women's Project, the Women's Forum and health services. Domestic violence advice is available in all community languages. We are all working together to improve domestic violence services in Haringey.